We got a soundbite, baby.
Yeah, but it's not a soundbite and it's not Odd Man Rush unless you tell me exactly what is going to happen.
So it's a lightning round.
Oh, God.
Where we take the news, notes, and trends of the NHL and we turn them into a 30-second take, which usually lasts 3 minutes.
Excellent. Excellent. So let's continue kind of where we had left off, and that's the winners and losers from this past draft. So we had this past draft obviously done our live.
Yeah.
4 hours long, and and still recovering. But what was your biggest takeaway? Like, who was your winner for the draft,
Well, I mean,
or loser? Whatever
besides
you prefer.
Montreal taking Demidov, no. Listen, my big winner is San Jose. And the reason I consider them a big winner is because they had 2 first-round picks, and they moved up with their second first-round pick. So obviously Celebrini is the franchise player. But in my opinion, they also got a franchise defenseman in Sam Dickinson, who could have easily gone top 5. So, and then the cherry on top of the sundae is in the second round, they got Igor Sherzov, who was scheduled to go top 20 in the draft. So I feel they drafted well. I feel they saw an opportunity to move up from, I think it was with Buffalo, right? From 14 to 11. And I honestly believe they got Celebrini, who was their number 1 center. And then I believe Sam Dickinson will be their number 1 defenseman at some point.
So to your point, the first 5 picks that they picked were absolutely amazing. And people that I would have considered, at least the first 4, were people that I would have considered first-round talents.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Celebrini, you have Sam Dickinson. So right there, you have a number 1 center and maybe a number 1 defenseman of your future. You have Chernyshov, who is a goal-scoring right winger from Russia who had first-round talent. You have Salin Walinius, who was actually someone that I considered late first-round talent. And I drafted them in the Lama draft as well.
Yeah.
I'm very proud of that. And Carson Wentz, who Wetch, I should say, who I played NHL24, and he became my number 2 center. So, go ahead, Junior. You want to give your take of who your winner or loser was in the draft?
My winner was the Minnesota Wild. One, they drafted my crush, Zeev Buim, 12th overall. That's, to me, is a major steal.
What a drop.
Yeah, what a drop. I think not necessarily because of him, but because teams just preferred something different. Not, but I don't know. Ottawa, I think Ottawa's might regret that for a long time. If Yakimchuk's not able to put all those assets together,
I had
even though I
Yakimchuk
like
rated high.
Yakimchuk, yeah.
30 goal scorer defenseman.
So
very, very difficult to find.
Buim was drafted 12th overall. I had him 4th on my fantasy rankings, so that's great. Ryder Ritchie, 45th overall. I think that was a great pick. And the one I liked the most, he was he had an injury-plagued season, so he wasn't able to be scouted a lot, and it feared a lot of teams. But Aaron Kiviharju was drafted 122nd in this draft. And did you see that clip?
Yeah.
When he went to the table, he went to Bill Guerin, the GM of the Wild, and he says, "You just got the steal of the draft."
Yeah, yeah.
And if I didn't like him enough before, I loved him even more after that. So I think he has the skill set to be great, especially offensively, and I think he complements Buim very well, actually. So that's a nice 1-2 combo they can have for a long time. So for me, Minnesota Wild was one of the winners of this draft. I don't necessarily disagree though with San Jose. They had a good draft.
They had
as
a
well.
really good draft. Both those teams had a very good draft, actually. My winner was Calgary Flames. And Flames fans, you've been kind of down and out recently with the whole Kachuk thing. You've been down and out as well because the Huberdeau thing didn't exactly pan out for you right away. The Goudreau leaving as well. So you know what? It's time to have some faith here because the draft worked out marvelous for you. Zane Parekh, the number 1 right-handed offensive defenseman in this pool 2024 draftees. Great pick at number 9.
From a fantasy perspective, it's a great fit also.
Yeah. Gridden, I should say. Matvey Gridden, left-hand, 6'1" winger who actually can't go to college because didn't have high enough marks.
Wow.
So he's probably going to go to the CHL. But anyways, regardless, he was a good pick there as well. He was a first rounder in my books. In the second round, they got Andrew Basha, who I thought was a first round talent at 41.
Love Andrew Basha.
They got Jacob Battaglia from the Frontenacs, who I thought, not a first rounder, but I thought he was a high second rounder. They got him at 62.
They got great value picks right there.
Henry Muse in the third round. I love Henry Muse. Right-handed defenseman again, 6 foot tall from Ottawa. So I thought they had an amazing draft. They got all kinds of talent here, and I think they're going to hit at least on 3 of these guys for sure to become NHLers.
Were they the ones that drafted Luke Misa?
Luke Misa was drafted 5th round. Luke Misa.
5th round.
Yeah, could be a steal.
He was 23 on my fantasy prospect list.
Yeah. Yeah.
5'10".
Even Hunter Lang is supposed to be very good. Anyways, they had a great draft. Absolutely great draft.
And any losers? Ooh, any losers in the draft?
Look, I know who Junior would say, but I wasn't too convinced with Ottawa's draft.
I agree.
I wasn't too convinced with it.
Philly?
Look, yeah.
Philly depends how you rank Luchenko, because there are some teams out there that did have Luchenko that high.
Okay.
So if it was a little bit of a reach, maybe 5-pick reach for a center that's a two-way center, like, it's not the end of the world, right? So, but I agree, it's kind of weird because there was other players available on the board that would have helped them right away.
Yeah, exactly.
And they traded down.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's fun to see how all this is going to develop in the next few years.
Yeah,
and see, because I thought Philly was a winner last year with Michkov.
Yeah,
so it'll be interesting.